Hi,
What's up, guys? How you doing tonight?
Welcome to Sundays at 6, the online expression of Celebrate Recovery at New Heights Church. We're glad to be coming into your living room or car or park or wherever
Hi, Avery.
you are.
We love you, Mommy and Daddy.
Hi, Avery. Love you. She is watching as well. We have all kinds of aged viewers. We love that.
Yep.
Man, we sure do miss getting together in person, and we don't have an end date yet. We do know that with school starting back, we're going to see how things settle in, and still trying to be respectful. But I think we might soon, maybe sometime mid-fall, do at least some step studies or weekly open share groups or something. We miss everybody, and we're going to try to keep people safe and yet somehow come together as a community again. So please be praying for us as that happens.
Kind of thinking about ourselves.
Let's introduce ourselves. I forgot that
Great.
part.
Let's do it.
I'm a grateful believer in Jesus. I celebrate recovery from the grief of a divorce, poor relationship choices, and the consequences of those choices. Man, I still struggle lately with just not being able to manage the outcome of things. Sometimes, even though He has come through for me, trusting God, it can be hard. And so that's something I have to lay down on a regular basis. And my name is Angela.
Hi, Angela.
Hi.
I'm a grateful believer in Jesus. I struggle with drugs, alcohol, lust, food issues, control. Man. Yeah, a lot of things. And my name's Chad.
Hey, Chad. As you were saying that, I was like nodding in like affirming,
He
not
does.
like
He does.
not like
He
being
really
like
does.
he struggles from all this thing.
That's right. That's right.
No, it wasn't like that at all. I think my mic's okay.
Oh my gosh.
Pulling on my shirt.
What are we doing?
Okay, listen. Last week we dropped out some of the sound, and we didn't have our phones on or anything. So I have this little phone set up here. So if something happens,
and I'm listening,
if you guys are watching, there's a 17-second delay. But please text us and let us know so we can make a quick adjustment.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway.
Do we need to go to the end there?
Now
we're live.
But turn your volume off.
Oh, golly. Hey, I didn't know that. I just was waiting for it.
We are trying to figure out what we need to do, though, about moving forward. I think you mentioned this already, but man, it would be nice to be able to get together at some point and even do another thing outside.
That is what we're going to possibly do. One of these Sunday nights coming up, another Sunday night event. And speaking of outside events, if you're not part of a home church, like we have mentioned, New Heights Church in Fayetteville, Arkansas is our home church. Great supporters of this Celebrate Recovery, and they are actually having an outdoor service next Sunday, August 23rd. So if you are just like a lot of us itching to get back in person, bring your lawn chair, bring a blanket, meet at the Boys and Girls Club next Sunday morning. You can find out more details on the New Heights website. I'm going to be there. I hope I can see you there, some of our Forever family that also goes to church there on Sunday morning. It's going to be great worship, a great encouraging talk. So if you want to get together with us, that would be great. And we'll probably try to start scheduling some stuff going forward. So if you, during our service, ask for a chip, we want to mail those chips to you if you're willing. And so we'll probably message you, get your address, and then send those in the mail. As I'm saying this, I remembered I had to mail 2 last week, and I moved my Post-it. So I'm going to circle back around. If you asked for a chip last week and didn't get it yet, it's because I was delinquent. I asked for your forgiveness, and I will get those in the mail. I promise. I just remembered that I moved the Post-it. Also, if you have something going on or having just a hard time, we have an incredible prayer team that would love to pray with you. So you can message us. We'll keep that anonymous. If you want, you can even give us your phone number and one of them can call you. We want to make sure you feel supported and encouraged. We also have some resources that we can help you with if you've been hit by COVID, harder than others. Some haven't and some have, and we want to make sure that we're coming together as a community and our Forever family and supporting each other. So we'd love to hear from you. We'd also love to just hear how you're doing. So please feel free to message us. I think
I was going to say, I had a friend stop by today and hang out, and he was dropping off some bacon and sausage. I have a bacon guy. I'm that kind of person. But
Jess said you struggled with food issues.
I know, it's a problem.
I'm not judging. Bacon is more. He drops it off for me more.
I know,
than he does
but either way, but it was just good to sit and talk to somebody and spend some time face to face with somebody, man. And I was thinking about our kind of lesson last week about community and how we're designed and created for that. And it was nice to have somebody just face to face, And we social distance sort of, but it's just nice to have somebody around. So I just want to encourage you guys, if you have people that are in your circle or in your sphere and you're kind of feeling down or feeling heavy, go hang out with somebody a little bit. Spend some time outside or or with somebody that you know. Go to a park, do something healthy, man.
Yeah.
This is a good time for that. So
it is.
I think it's a good idea.
All right, let's jump into the 12 steps. Chad and I are gonna
This is always my favorite part of the week, Angela. This is my favorite.
How about this? You read your verse with yours, and I
feel like it's a top 10 list from like Johnny Carson way back in the day.
It is.
You never know how this is gonna go.
You will not read the verse together. They can read it with us, but let's not us read it
No,
together.
I'm gonna try. I'm gonna still try. We don't have to.
Okay.
You want me to go first? Okay.
Yes.
Step 1. We admitted we were powerless over our addictions and compulsive behaviors and that our lives had become unmanageable. For I know that good itself does not dwell in me, that is in my sinful nature. For I have the desire to do what is good, but I cannot carry it out. Romans 7:18.
I just let you take it.
I know. I've got to do this real quick, though, because Go ahead.
It's hard to do both, isn't it?
Well, it's hard to do both on the first one, so go ahead.
I'm going to go ahead. Step 2. We came to believe that a power greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity. For it is God who works in you for, For it is God who works in you to will and act in order to fulfill his good purpose. Philippians 2:13. I couldn't even read it by myself, let alone read it with someone.
It's a challenge.
I need you to read it with me.
It is a challenge. So step 3. We made a decision to turn our lives and our wills over to the care of God. Therefore, I urge you, brothers and sisters, in view of God's mercy, to offer your bodies as living sacrifices, holy and pleasing to God. This is your true and proper worship. Romans 12:1.
I was good.
That was a close one.
Throw that translation, switch the translation up, and really throw everybody off. Step 4, we made a searching and fearless moral inventory of ourselves. That's let us examine our ways and test them. Let us return to the Lord. Lamentations 3:40.
And step 5, we admitted to God, to ourselves, and to another human being the exact nature of our wrongs. Therefore, confess your sins to each other and pray for each other so that you may be healed. James 5:16.
Step 6. We were entirely ready to have God remove all these defects of character. Humble yourselves before the Lord, and he will lift you up. James 4:10.
Step 7. All right, here we go. We humbly asked him to remove all our shortcomings. If we confess our sins, he is faithful and just and will forgive us our sins and purify us from all unrighteousness. 1 John 1:9.
Step 8. We made a list of all persons we had harmed, and we became willing to make amends to them all. Do unto others as you would have them do to you. Luke 6:31.
I got to remember that whoever goes first has all the long ones. Anyway. Step 9. We made direct amends to such people whenever possible, except when to do so would injure them or others. Therefore, if you are offering your gift at the altar and there remember that your brother or sister has something against you, leave your gift there in front of the altar. First, go and be reconciled to them. Then come and offer your gift. Luke 6:31.
I'm always impressed that scripture doesn't say you're offended at someone, but that someone's offended at you. You should go make that right.
I know, that's a tough one.
Point. Step 10. We continue to take personal inventory, and when we were wrong, promptly admitted it. So if you think you were standing firm, be careful that you don't fall. 1 Corinthians 10:12.
Step 11. We sought through prayer and meditation to improve our conscious contact with God, praying only for knowledge of his will for us and the power to carry that out. Let the message of Christ dwell among you richly. Colossians 3:16.
Step 11. Step 12. Having had a spiritual experience as the result of these steps, we try to carry this message to others and to practice these principles in all our affairs. Brothers and sisters, if someone is caught in a sin, you who live by the Spirit should restore that person gently. But watch yourself, or you also may be tempted. Galatians 6:1. If you come to try to take Chad's bacon, you will be tempted to eat the bacon.
Oh my goodness, that's enough bacon talk around here. I'm getting hungry now.
It's true. That could be triggering for food issue people who are giving it up.
Good job. That was pretty. I think we need to go back to the other translations.
Or the 8 principles. I just was like, how many principles are there? I was about to say 7, as though there wasn't an 8.
I don't know. Anyway, so we should jump into the worship part now.
Yes, we're going to kick it over to the Crosstown Band. We don't have T-shirts yet. I didn't even think about that. And still silence. We've been ghosted by Justin on whether or not
I don't know if he likes him or not. Maybe he said it in here, and we should
Justin's
figure it out.
always pretty stoic. Like, he's just a pretty stoic guy in general, so you can't really get a read from him. But we like him. We like his wife's artwork. We like the coordination.
You could do like a cross, and it could be like a cross and Crosstown Band, like a cheesy 90s t-shirt.
We really need to cut to Justin. Bring us into worship,
all right.
Justin. We're kicking it over to you.
Here's Justin.
Unravel me with the melody. You surround me with the song of deliverance from my enemies, till all my fears are gone. I'm no longer a slave to fear. I am a child of God. And I'm no longer a slave to fear. I am a child of God. From my mother's womb, you have chosen me. Love has called my name. And I've been born again to your family. Blood flows through my veins. And I'm no longer a slave to fear. I am a child of God. I'm no longer a slave to fear. I am a child of God. You split the sea so I could walk right through it. My fears were drowned in perfect love. And you rescued me so I could stand and sing. And I am a child of God. 'Cause I am a child of God. I am a child of God. Hear the voice of love that's calling. There's a chair that waits for you, and a friend who understands all the things you go through. But you keep standing at a distance in the shadow of your shame. There's a light of hope that's shining. Won't you come and take your place? So bring it all to the table. There's nothing he ain't seen before. For all your sin, all your sorrow and your sadness, there's a Savior and he calls. Bring it all to the table. He sees a way trials, all your worries and your sadness. There's a Savior and He calls, so bring it all to the table. So bring it all to the table.
Hey guys. Man, good job, Justin. You do a great job of just leading worship and kind of taking us there, so I appreciate that.
That song is really great. That Bring It All to the Table song. I can't say I've heard that song before. You might have sung it before, but that doesn't mean I remember it. So tonight we have another leader interview, which I'm excited about. You know, one of the things we thought that is so great about CR is those testimonies that we do every other Sunday, but it's a little bit trickier because this online platform isn't confidential and it isn't anonymous, and so it's a little bit riskier to share your whole story just out there. So what we wanted to do instead was interview leaders specifically around their Celebrate Recovery journey, how they hear about it, how they find us. What was the process like? Because so many times people, when they think about coming to CR, have an idea of, oh, that's going to be scary. I don't know if I can do it. I don't know what that's going to feel like or the experience is going to be. What's my time frame? All the things that kind of come up as concerns or fears or reasons to hesitate in joining or going to a Celebrate Recovery. So it's been fun, I think. I've really enjoyed. We've heard Dana, we've heard Lisa, we even heard from you a couple weeks ago, which was really fun. Chad's grown his beard back. This is Chad. We had some other guy that looked like Chad. He told a good story, but it was really kind of scary.
I want this to be a little more symmetrical as I'm kind of looking at. Anyway.
Right.
Well, but we in this interview, I will say it was on Zoom.
We did a Zoom call.
There was the audio on half of it's a little bit off. I don't know if it's how Zoom recorded it or what.
Sync,
just
so
the sync is bad. So but you should be able to hear it and all that, and you should be able to follow along. But.
So I'm excited for you to hear just another perspective, another person's journey through Celebrate Recovery and what it felt like for them. So check this out. This is one of our New Heights leaders for Celebrate Recovery.
Okay, guys, I'm excited about tonight's leader interview. This time we're doing it via Zoom, which is the new way during this pandemic season, because we couldn't orchestrate getting together. And so first I'm going to kick it on over to her so she can do her introduction.
Hi, guys. I'm a grateful believer in Jesus who struggles with codependency, people pleasing, and the need to control things. My name is Debbie.
Hi, Debbie. And so we're just going to kind of roll into these leader interviews are really just designed to let people kind of peek into the journey of somebody in Celebrate Recovery. A little different than a testimony. It's really more like if I'm a new person and I'm hearing about CR, what I might expect as the progression or as some of the things that we experience in CR for the first time might feel like. And so that's really the journey we're going to kind of go on tonight with you. And so I first just want to say, how did you first hear about Celebrate Recovery?
Well, my husband has had a long journey with some struggles, and he attended CR for many years, and I really never thought it was for me. That was his thing and his place, and so I just kind of, I mean, occasionally I would attend, but I didn't really see a need for that for me. That was for him.
Yeah, I'm sure at some point in this leader interview season, I'm going to rope him into this too, because he's one of our good But let's stick on you for just a second. So at what point did you kind of shift from it being something for him to it being something that you recognized you really needed also?
Oh, probably about 3 years ago, we hit a little bump in our marriage, and I did not like the person I was becoming. I could see myself spiraling down to a place that wasn't good, and I didn't know how to get out of it. And I just thought maybe this might work if I give it a shot.
And so you had already kind of experienced it a few times when you attended with him, but when you kind of were there for yourself, how did it shift? Like, I imagine when you were just visiting with him, maybe I'm wrong, but let me know. Like, did you get a blue chip, or were you ever like, this is for me? But then when you shifted, were there things you started kind of working on a little bit differently?
Well, the shift was, I think, when I realized that there was something there for me. Even step one, when we admit we're powerless and our life's unmanageable and we can't control it, and that's pretty much where I was. But it took a long time to get there. But as I visited and just, you know, felt each time I came, I felt a little more comfortable. And it started out just, I'm going to go to big worship. I'm not ready for a small group. So
Yeah.
it started out just attending worship, and the smaller atmosphere at New Heights was comfortable for me, and it made it a little bit easier just to feel okay sneaking in the back door and sitting on the front row, but sneaking out before anybody caught me so I could not have to go
Really,
to it.
I appreciate though that perspective. A couple things I want to highlight is that everybody is at their own pace. You know, there can be this misconception that there's this exact equation that somebody comes in and it has to be like 12 steps in 12 months or something like that. And it's not
Mm-hmm.
at all. I love what you said about that. You know, you had to kind of be more and more comfortable, and the longer you came, the more your body kind of relaxed into the experience and what to expect and what it was like. I mean, that for me gives great insight if somebody's new or thinking about CR, that there's pressure of how quickly you have to do the next step. And so also there are we're fortunate, there are lots of Celebrate Recoveries in the Northwest Arkansas area. And so to hear you kind of go, you know what, that larger one, it is intimidating, I'll be honest. Lots of people have kind of, and so it's great for some, and it's definitely a charge with the excitement they have in their worship and the opportunity to have an open chair and step study groups. But there are quite a few people who do prefer a little bit smaller of a setting, and that's something our Sunday night group does provide. And we're kind of in the middle. There's smaller ones than us, and there's bigger ones. Kind of have to find the night that works for you and the group dynamic that works for you. And so it's good to kind of hear that part of your journey. That's why we do these leader interviews, to kind of get perspectives. So at what point did you go, okay, I'll stay for the open share and make that next step of walking into that room where you have to start kind of processing your own stuff?
I don't really remember how long it took. Probably several months it took before I was willing to make that. And then I really wasn't quite sure after I got in there if I was like, pass.
Yeah. That's another really great point that I'll encourage people. Like, you don't have to share if you don't feel comfortable sharing yet. Go listen, check it out, and as you feel comfortable, you can start to open up. I think so many times people think they're going to be forced to do something, or that they are required to, and we really want to make sure we're working with each person at the comfort level and the safety level. Safety is a huge part of CR, that emotional safety to be ready to share. That's an important part of this process. And if you try to push your body to do something before you're really ready, chances are you'll quit, or you'll feel triggered or overwhelmed. Not that those don't come up sometimes also, but we really want to pace ourselves. And I appreciate that perspective.
Yeah.
So
I also felt like,
yeah, go ahead.
Well, I just wanted to say that the leaders were really gracious with me in that in the beginning, I still wanted to, in this open share, I still wanted to not take, I didn't really follow maybe I didn't follow I wanted to blame somebody else.
Got it.
I wanted to blame somebody else. And so I wanted to talk about somebody else. And that's not really the way it works, but the leaders were just so gracious and just kind of patient with me. And it didn't take long, but it took a hot minute for me to realize that I was there to work on me and not anybody else.
I share that part of my testimony too, that I was there in open share, blaming, my ex-husband at the time. And that was beneficial. He and I weren't even in a relationship anymore. So it wasn't helping him grow, and it certainly wasn't helping me grow. It was keeping me stuck. And so that leader that came and said, hey, what would it look like if you started using I and me statements and you started sharing your own experience? And I love leaders are, trained to show that grace and also do those little, micro corrections of I and me statements, or remember to focus on your feelings. That's a shift for a lot of people who come into an open share group when our narrative has normally been, here's the whole story, to really start talking about our own experience. And it's an emotional shift too, because to really start thinking, wait, how did this impact me? Woo! It can feel heavy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I love that even reference to the leaders that were gracious. It's so hard in that position. And we'll get to this later when you became a leader. It's hard to somebody. It's hard to, if somebody's not using I and me statements, but they're talking, you don't want to interrupt them, but sometimes you have to. And so that can be awkward and off-putting, but it's so important for the safety of the group to kind of maintain those guidelines and structure. And the person usually does come around and then start to benefit. So as that shift happened for you, what did you notice about yourself and how comfortable or not it felt to share an open share?
Well, at first it isn't really that comfortable to be vulnerable and open up, and for me again to admit that I had things I needed to be working on, but as I began to say it out loud and put it in my own words about myself, it has become easier to share hard things about me.
I love that. Yeah. That is our process. As we continue on this journey, we can dig a little deeper how we've experienced these situations and circumstances in our life that actually influences who we are and why we're making the decisions we're making. I mean, it's definitely a process. So talk to me then about when obviously you share that your journey was paced, and I like that. So at some point you decided, okay, I got to get into a step study. What was that like?
The first step study, I felt like, oh my goodness, all of the things that had happened that led up to that, led me to know my father had passed away. My husband had come home and said some things that had been secrets. There had been some secrets that had been revealed, and it was just a really
hard season,
hard time, and I knew that I needed some help, and the things I'd used along the way weren't working anymore, and I thought, well, maybe, if I'll jump in the step study, there could be some sort of recovery or healing was what I wanted. And that first step study was probably a little bit slow for me. Probably didn't get as much as I wished I would have. But then I jumped right back in another one just a few months after that, the first one. And
you're not the first person to do that, to just like piggyback them. I hear a lot of people say it's not until like second book in that they're like, wait a minute. Back in the denial lesson, I was so terrified to be here. I don't even know what I was in denial about. And so, like, once you gain healing, to go back into another step study, you can answer all those questions with a little bit different of a perspective. I mean, go to multiple step studies because the deeper they grow and the more they heal, the different perspectives they have on these new areas in their life, and there's more healing to continue. And so I love that you were able to recognize this was beneficial. I didn't get as much out of it as I possibly could or want. And so I'm going to keep on going. That's a good choice. I love that choice. Do that, and I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Go.
Thank you. I'm sorry.
How'd that one go?
So the second one was a little it was better. Maybe I was a little more honest than the first time, and yeah, I felt that I got a little more out of the second one. Probably I would say it all was on my heart and where I was at the time.
Yeah.
Being a year into, even though I would say that the first step study wasn't as relevant as the second one, it may pave the way for the second one to be a little easier and helpful. I don't know.
Yeah. So, if you're around RCR at all for very much time and you've graduated a step study, then I'm going to start pushing. It's just for that. And so I'm
That's
like,
the way
hey,
she flies.
hey, I'm like, when are you ready? And so I think I roped you into joining one of our leadership trainings, which was role plays and stuff. I remember that being really fun.
Oh.
We do these leadership trainings. If anyone's like going, I want to become a leader, what does it take? Where we kind of do a simulated group of an open share where everything's going wrong, and we have our learn how to respond to those scenarios. It's actually it's fun, and it helps kind of you understand, what would I do if this scenario were really happening? If I had to correct somebody and I feel uncomfortable, or I'm a people pleaser, that's a hard thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of pushed you. What was, I think at some point, you're not the first person who probably would say this, but you were like, I don't think I'm ready. And I'm like, let's just proceed, and I'll keep.
No, I think I said to you is I never say yes on the first ask. I never say yes on the first ask. You'll have to try again.
And I did. I circled back.
And you did. I knew you would. And I'm happy that you did. I'm a little sad this COVID thing has kind of got in between all that. Our group has been pretty good to text one another and grow together that way.
So let me share that real quick, that part of the story. So you and one of our dear leaders, Mama Jen, her leader interview is going to come a little bit later this season. But you both said yes and signed up to do a step study that filled up pretty quickly and had a really good dynamic. And then bam, COVID hit, and responding like most churches did, we paused the group. And so sadly, your first leadership experience has been hit with this global pandemic that you're The feedback I've gotten and seen is how you and Jen have done such a good job continuing to build community and keep these girls in the loop. I mean, that's a sign of an amazing leader. And I'm just, we feel like the right person's in the role enough to say, hey, we're going through this word season together. And that's what you do when you're in a step study. You go through hard seasons together. That's what we're in.
Yeah.
I do hate that it got cut short, but don't you worry, they'll come back around, and I'm going to get you.
Oh yeah. I'm looking forward to it, actually. I'm looking forward to it.
So I want to talk about a couple other things, like how you've seen, you've been in CR now. Charles has been in CR. How have you seen CR impact you guys in your relationship and your family and the way you interact and respond to things? Like, what has the life impact been for you?
I think that doing it together, I mean, being us, Charles and myself, both being active and involved, has really helped us understand what it means. I think maybe in the past I was a little bit jealous of his
community.
His community, even though those people, I didn't really know those people. But it's been fun to see, to build relationships with people that I didn't think I needed, and just watch the Lord work to grow us together as a couple, and then to involve new friends and just new perspective and such, as far as, I don't know, just it's just better together.
I do. I like that it's not only your own, because it was this thing he had that you saw.
Mm-hmm.
And I like that you say, man, I looked at that and thought, man, what would that be like to have an accountability team, a group of people I can reach out to, that community that looks for me, every Sunday night. And so into that and got it, and then it became your own, but now it's like it's yours. And I joke all the time that you guys are like the parents of our CR, the dad,
Yeah.
but you're like the proud parents. That you come and you're engaged, and it's so fun to see how you care for all the participants, and then you're also on your own journey. I mean, I just think that's beautiful.
Yeah.
So just kind of as we're starting to wrap this up, if you knew that there was somebody out there that was potentially watching this who was on the fence, maybe a spouse who thought that Celebrate Recovery is really for my husband, it's not for me, or if it's for my spouse, but it's not really for me, or somebody even that had that thought, I don't know if that's for me, what might you encourage them? What might you say to them?
Oh, I think I would just say, jump in, just try, just give it a chance. I don't think in the past that I really gave it a fair chance for it to be a place that could be of help, or that there could be a community there that I wanted to be a part of, or that wanted me to be a part of them. And gosh, it's just been such a sweet blessing, just an unexpected blessing of friends and family and people who understand, meeting people that
Don't worry, you're making me cry too. I love that you said that. It's not just that you wanted it, it's that the people there wanted you. I mean, that was a huge thing for that journey of going, wait a minute, it seems like the people here want my company. That's a shift I had always felt, the acceptance that you get, the inclusion that you get, that you're part of this forever family, and everyone's kind of proud of each other that you're there and working the steps and doing the thing. That's just, you're right. It's just a sweet thing, isn't it?
It is.
Well, I appreciate that you let me rope you into this. I feel like most of my do that. They just let me rope you right in. So
That's why you that's the way you fly. But we love you.
It is. Man, it's been fun to watch your journey. I know in my story, way back in the early days of my recovery, I would see you pop in and out, and I was a Saturday Mosaic person as well, and I would see you guys. So even if not as directly as now, you've been in my journey for a really long time.
Yeah, we have.
Loved and respected you guys from the get-go, and so it's fun that it came all the way full circle, and now we're on this together, and we're getting to minister alongside each other. That's just a fun, unexpected thing when you enter into recovery for your own work, and then down the road become a leader. You're now getting to partner along others who are doing ministry together to help the group that's coming in. It just is a fun little silver lining at the end of a hard recovery story. So
it is a silver lining that it feels good, and it's worth it.
Awesome.
And the people that you get to meet along the way.
It's awesome. We love you, Debbie. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I'm going to kick it back over to Chad and I. See ya.
Okay. See ya. Bye, guys.
I love it.
I had such a sweet time with her. It was just good to connect and catch up and get to ask some of those questions. I think we get so caught up with getting somebody plugged in, and sometimes you don't get to hear how did you get here? How's your journey been? And so this has been really fun, I think.
It's always, there's always this struggle, sort of, for a lot of people that you're like, I don't want to do this, or I don't want to do it. And it's like, and then it's to see the people, to see like, man, Debbie and Charles both, I mean, they're just such great people and such good leaders and such good and consistent people in our community. It's almost like you can't imagine them not being there.
Totally.
And so to hear the struggle is like, how, like you belong with not in a bad way. Like, I'm not saying you're like one, but you know, you belong with, you're part of the family kind of, you know?
Family.
Yeah, definitely. And so.
It's an interesting thing because it's always fun for me to hear everybody gets to see art a different way, but it's always by this prompting. Something happens or they hear about it, or it's an influence through church or a friend, or, you know, a couple of weeks ago, somebody was just scrolling through Facebook and it randomly popped up and she joined in and messaged us later and we had this interaction. I think there's so much going on spiritually that we don't always see where God is orchestrating to bring the lives of people together that he has a plan for. And so it's fun, you know, like God had a plan for Debbie to be part of our CR, for Charles, for the other leaders that we've had. And it's just exciting to be part of what God's doing and to be part of this team of family that he's orchestrated together. And so, man,
it's great.
Super encouraging.
Thank you so much, Debbie.
Thank you for just being flexible and open to that. Man, I just appreciate you.
Yeah.
All right. While we were in that interview, we had some graphics come in.
I would say very important things.
Yes, we really need to include you in this. These are a few submissions for the possible band T-shirt. Kick them up, Chad. This is the cross.
I'll kick these up. Hold on.
So
both are pretty impressive.
We didn't have.
I think they're both pretty impressive.
When we pulled those up, we didn't have sound over it, so we couldn't talk over them. But I like the flames in the.
I know. It's pretty impressive.
In the
cross town.
It's so great.
Oh my goodness! And the 3 crosses. Did you see that?
It's
that was very good.
Those were from Justin. So he didn't ghost us. He sent us graphics. And P.S. Not only can you play the guitar and sing well, he also does graphics. So there's that. So we're gonna in just a second kick it back over to the Crosstown Band.
Wait. I think we should look at them one more time, just
so.
quickly.
We'll take
What do you guys think? That's good,
so
right?
good.
That's good stuff. I mean, especially on the fly like that.
I love our community so much. I'm going to pitch to Jennifer to do some artwork that includes like the Crosstown Band.
We've got to do it.
Okay, we've got to switch over.
Blue chips.
I forgot the other chips too. So during this song, if you are celebrating something, to celebrate. Whoa. Oh wait.
Not yet. That
you
was
did
an
it too
accident.
fast.
I bumped it. It's my fault.
Whoa, we kicked it over too fast. If you are celebrating 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, man, during COVID, during isolation, during a pandemic, recovery can be really, really hard. So if you've got those 30 days of sobriety, man, congratulations. 60 days. If you've made it 90 days, that is huge. I know I've heard, sadly, quite a few people who've fallen off the wagon during this time, who've relapsed, who've been really having a struggle. And we want you to know, if that's you, there's so much grace in this process. Man, the best part is to circle back around to your sponsor, circle back around to your accountability, plug back into community, and say, man, this season is hard. I need some extra support here. Get back on track, get back on your journey, and keep on going. So if you need a celebration chip, please feel free to post that in the comments. We'd love to celebrate with you. And if just listening to Debbie's testimony tonight made you remember something about your own journey, you know, the maybe you put pressure on yourself to get it done in a certain time frame, or maybe you remember that it took a couple of step studies for it to kind of work, or, you know, just any part of what she shared. I love in Open Share, I was that way, so I can use I and me statements. I shared about my ex-husband, and I blamed, and I did that thing, and so it was a shift for me to use I and me statements. And maybe that's where you are. You're learning to kind of recognize the impact your life has had on you emotionally and how that's affecting your responses. And maybe that's something that you're ready to really address, step out of denial on, and take a blue chip for. So if you need a blue chip, maybe it's just for some other struggle that you're having, feel free to post that. You don't have to tell us what it's for, and you also can, if you want to. We'd love to get one sent to you to let you know that we're supporting you. So now, without further ado, we're going to kick it back over to Justin.
This is the real worship song.
For a little bit of worship.
Sometimes on this journey, I get lost in my mistakes. What looks to me like weakness is a canvas for your strength. My story isn't over, and my story's just begun. Failure won't define me, 'cause that's what my Father does. Failure won't define me, 'cause that's what my Father does. Whoa, whoa, lay your burdens down. Whoa, whoa, here in the Father's house. Check your shame at the door, 'cause it ain't welcome anymore. Whoa, whoa, here in the Father's house. Arrival's not the end game, the journey's where you are. Never wanted perfect, just wanted my heart. The story isn't over if the story isn't good. Failure's never final when the Father's in. No, failure's never final when the Father's in the room. Whoa, whoa, lay your burdens down. Whoa, whoa, you're in the Father's house. Check your shame at the door, it ain't welcome anymore. Whoa, whoa, you're in the Father's house. Prodigals come home, the helpless find hope. Love is on the move when the Father's in the room. Prison doors swing wide, the dead come to life. Love is on the move when the Father's in the room. Miracles take place, the cynicals find faith. Love is breaking through when the Father's in the room. Jericho walls shaking, strongholds now quaking. Love is breaking through when the Father's in the room. Love is breaking through when the Father's in the room. Oh, whoa, lay your burdens down. Whoa, whoa, you're in the Father's house. Check your shame at the door, 'cause it ain't welcome anymore. Whoa, whoa, you're in the Father's house. Whoa, whoa, lay your burdens down. Whoa, whoa, here in the Father's house. Check your shame at the door, 'cause it ain't welcome anymore. Whoa, whoa, you're in the Father's house. Whoa, whoa, you're in the Father's house.
Awesome.
Thanks so much, Justin. You do a great job, man. We really appreciate it.
Chad's over here trying to figure out how to put your graphics.
I'm playing
in there
with it.
just
I
to
could
give
totally throw them
Chad
in
a
there.
hard time.
Don't give me something to do in the middle of something I'm supposed to be doing, because I will play with stuff. Oh my goodness,
He'll get
I've got a
distracted.
real problem, you guys.
All right,
Oh.
listen, we had a really hard time uploading our Serenity Prayer tonight, and so it's actually just going to be Chad and I. We're going to read it, and we're going to get the one that was sent to us uploaded somehow this week.
Someday.
Sometimes technology goes wrong despite our best efforts, and so we try to be pretty tech savvy. We tried every Drive and Google and Box and text and compression.
Everything under the sun, and it just wouldn't, for some reason, come in. So
yeah.
You get us tonight.
So we're going to read the Serenity Prayer, and then we'll come back to us again. So let's cut over to Chad and Angela for the Serenity
Prayer. Right
Prayer.
in the same exact spot. So we're cutting over to us right here.
There we are.
Oh, wow. Oh, my goodness.
Please read the Serenity Prayer. What, should we read it together? Because
Let's do it together. We'll try.
The pacing. Ready? Here we go.
God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Living one day at a time, enjoying one moment at a time, accepting hardship as a pathway to peace, taking as Jesus did this sinful world as it is, not as I would have it, trusting that you will make all things right if I surrender to your will, so that I may be reasonably happy in this life and supremely happy with you forever in the next. Amen.
You'd think I'd have that memorized. I do if I don't read it, but once I use the assist, I lose my mind.
I think you did pretty good, though. I think you did pretty good.
I've realized that when I try to look up at the camera into the eyes and the families that are out there and the people that are out there, then I look back and I lose my place, and then it's a mess. I go into my head and
I just want to make faces at the camera. I don't know. Sometimes I just want to do that, or like
get
a light,
like a couple minutes early,
get good shadows on it or something.
Feel free to comment.
Yeah,
we'll say hi.
We care about you guys. We love you guys. If there's something that we can do or you guys need, don't forget to reach out. You're not alone. You're not out there alone. I know COVID kind of makes us a little bit COVID crazy or whatever, but if you engage with some people, if you can get outside and hang out with some people or do something healthy for yourself or with the people that are around you, man, we just want to encourage that community is a huge part of this. And even kind of what Debbie said in her story, like the realization that the community was so important for her and her husband. I mean, it's a big deal. So
I'll tell you this too, even with Chad and I, we're pretty authentic people, so we can share this. When COVID first hit, or whatever that was, late March, it was like, okay, let's kind of hunker down. This is going to pass and we'll get back to normal. And then there was this kind of midsummer normal isn't coming, and then it was kind of like this stuck. I'm not going to use the word depression because that feels unfair for people who actually struggle with depression for me to compare, but it was like this heaviness of like, there's no end in sight. What do we do with this ambiguous out there? For somebody who likes to control the outcome, it was really, really hard. So both of us had to kind of realign and really see where we have not been intentional about things that we were intentional when things were going well. And so we even this week have kind of committed to getting back on a healthy food plan, getting exercise back in. Those are things that when we had structure, we were really good to incorporate. But sadly, for my personal story, when chaos hits, self-care is usually one of the first things that I forget to do. And so I had to circle back and go, man, self-care is important. That's my message to me. So if that hits you too, just know you're not alone. The best thing to do is to acknowledge where you missed it and to try to get back on track and include accountability along the way. We're kind of lucky we have each other to kind of take this journey together. But we'd love to hear from you. If there's something that you kind of let regress and you want to jump back into making a commitment to it, we'd love to hear about that and support you in it. Also, we have some midweek touch points that you can get involved with Wednesday morning at 8:30 every week, every Wednesday morning at 8:30. I can't believe I've been so consistent with it. I'll do a gender specific private group for women who are involved in Celebrate Recovery, and you can just sign up. It's a live Facebook event. I at first was calling it like a devotion, and while there is a lot of faith incorporated in it, it really is like a word of encouragement. It's just a life application on living healthy and so with recovery principles and part of my own story. And there's a great comments between the women there, and the group is private. So if that's something you're not a part of and want to incorporate or be incorporated into that, please message us if you're a female, and I'll get you included in that group so that you can start watching with us. And if you can't watch it live, you can always watch it later, but it is a private group only. You have to be accepted into the group. Same for the men. Chad has been connecting with the men on Thursday mornings at 8. The guys always get up a little bit earlier, and he's
I think I'm the latest. Like, I get up later than anybody, so 8's what I got. But no, we do something short. It's just a quick encouragement. It's 10 minutes long or so, and just kind of say, hey, this is what's going on. These are kind of some thoughts for the week, and kind of a little encouragement to get you through the weekend. So
feel free to ask us if you want to be in either one of those groups. We'll get you plugged in, and that's about all we got for you.
Thanks, guys.
If there's anything we can do for you, please let us know. We'd love to try. Have a great week. We love you, and we'll miss you.